Welcome to day 5 of the 10-day Business Tuneup course. Today is day 5. We're going to look at building a cash reserve. All too often, people are just operating their business on a hand-to-mouth basis. Basically, as soon as the check comes in, they're paying bills, and then they're waiting for the next check. This can be a stressful life for small business owners. And as soon as you have any hiccups or obstacles, all of a sudden you're behind on your bills. You can't pay your employees. Your creditors are phoning up looking for loan payments. And this is not a good feeling. This is where you need to focus on building a cash reserve so that you always have some money set aside to pay your month-to-month bills and have a buffer so that if something does happen, you're not going to run into problems paying your bills. So let's take a look. Building a cash reserve. Now, as I mentioned, you need a cash reserve to protect yourself against temporary downturns. We can always, like Canada went through a mail strike. That definitely affected the cash flow for a lot of businesses for 2 months because they couldn't get their checks in the mail in the first place. So this is where you want to make sure you have a buffer so that if things come up or emergency expenses come up, you don't have to worry about creating a bunch of stress for yourself. So what kind of reserve do you need? I would recommend at least 3 to 6 months of operating expenses. This should give you the ability to withstand most short-term events. Now, if we ever had a long-term event like COVID where it lasted for a year or two, that's a different story. It's hard to account for something like that. But definitely things like, okay, my suppliers just told me that I'm not going to get paid until 2 weeks from now, or whatever else may affect your business. You want to make sure you have the ability to withstand a temporary setback. If you don't have a cash reserve plan, look at creating one. You don't have to set aside 3 to 6 months of expenses right away. You can build it up over a period of time so that maybe after 12 months, you're going to have a 3 to 6 month of cash reserves. Like after all, Rome was not built in a day. You have to start somewhere though. So taking a first small step is critical. Now, something you can do right now to make your life easier and to build up a cash reserve is start looking at your expenses. This is a good time to start looking at cost cutting. Now, I don't want you to be cutting essential costs that's vital to your business, but everyone has costs that they might have signed up for a subscription 3 years ago and they're still paying for it and they hardly ever use it now. Those are the type of expenses that they're not essential to your business. They don't help generate income. They're not essential. They don't help out. They're not critical for the future of your business. Start cutting those costs. You can put that money to better use elsewhere. So what do you do for cutting expenses? Well, grab your bank account statements and your credit card statements for the last 3 to 6 months. Start looking for items on those statements that you never noticed. Start asking yourself, do I need this expense? Is it crucial for my business? If the answer is no, and you can't see any benefit of why you're paying for that expense, start cutting it back. Look for any unnecessary expenses that you no longer need. Especially look for subscriptions. That has a way of sneaking up on people where you signed up for something, they have an automatic monthly payment, and you just forget about it and it keeps coming out of your bank account, especially if it's something like a $10 or $15 charge. Well, on a monthly basis, it may not seem like much, but add up over a year or two or three, you could be getting into thousands of dollars spent on these type of subscriptions that you no longer need. So this is something that you should take a look at immediately and ask yourself, where can I start saving money today? So for your action plan, this is where your goal is to go through your last 3 to 6 months of bank statements and credit card statements. Start looking for items that you can deduct or cut out of your spending plan completely. Then start asking yourself, okay, I want to create a cash reserve account. Set up a separate bank account for this savings account to put your reserve funding in. And start adding to it on a weekly or monthly basis. Maybe start small at first, and as you start generating more excess cash in your business, put more aside until you do get this 3 to 6 months of operating reserves. Going to your spreadsheet, again, as in previous days, I've got a small worksheet here. It's going to focus more on, first of all, asking yourself, how much savings do you want to set a goal for? And when do you want to, how many months of savings do you want? So start setting some goals, then start working on it. Then in terms of cost cutting, go through your expenses, go through your statements, and make a list of the expenses that you found you no longer need and what the cost of those expenses were, or the cost of those savings will be. And see for yourself how much savings you can come up with. The higher the savings, that's better for you. That's going to be more cash in your pocket that you can use for other things. That is more valuable to growing your business. So that wraps up our day 2. Going forward, this is where on the day 6, we're going to be looking at tax planning. Everyone's favorite topic. Like, who doesn't like paying taxes? Of course, I'm being cynical here. Taxes is probably one of your biggest lifetime expenses you're going to have. So we're going to take a look at how you can cut your tax bill. And this is legitimately not, I don't believe in these tax scams or fraudulent tax savings. But being a business owner, you are entitled to a lot of different tax deductions that can save you taxes in the long term. So that's it for today. I look forward to seeing you on day 6. Thank you. Bye.